down begin. Raze back live again. Pop culture, entertainment, of course, the hot topics. Traveling somewhere in the tropics. Usually preserved for smoke show panels, $1 million plays. We expanding the channel, they say opinions like assholes. Watch your mouth at all times and don't mess up the cash flow. We live.
What up? Raze back live again on this Wednesday noontime live stream. And guys, the feds are bringing the heat to Diddy in court today, guys. Hit that like button. Oh man. Yesterday we were talking about is Diddy actually winning? Does he have a chance to get off? Because we were trying to figure out, were the feds actually proving their case of S trafficking and RICO? But today, the feds have come inside that courtroom with some witnesses. The defense is going to have a tough time, and they have been having a tough time with the witnesses today. That agent testified earlier, and he showed some of this evidence in which he had grabbed up inside Diddy's house out there inside Miami, and he showed it to the jurors. So, what a day. Today, so far, is not a good day for the Diddy's defense. I admit that. It is not a good day for the Diddy's team. He hired about, 8 to 10 lawyers to come to trial and help him out. But, man, of course, Kid Cudi, the rapper, is going to be testifying this week. People thought it was going to be today, but it's going to be tomorrow because of his scheduling conflicts. So Kid Cudi, according to the prosecutor, will be testifying against Diddy tomorrow. Of course, Kid Cudi is the guy who dated Cassie in about around 2011. Diddy got jealous, threatened to blow up his car, and lo and behold, Kid Cudi's car was blowing up. So obviously they're going to ask Kid Cudi about that situation with the car getting blown up. What an eventful day. And let me see, and let's see. I have some photos here. Now, earlier, the guy that was testifying yesterday, in which they said he's going to continue today, the federal agent from the Department of Homeland Security, he continued his testimony today. And you see on your screen the guns, and he said, look, matter of fact, let me put it on the screen what he said. Federal investigators also found a 45 caliber handgun and several rounds in a suitcase, according to Gerard Gannon, a Homeland Security special agent who helped plan the March 2024 raid on Sean Diddy Combs' mansion in Miami. This is according to the Washington Post, by the way. These were in addition to several AR-15 parts found on the premises, including upper and lower receivers for the rifles, guys. So my guess is now they are trying to prove RICO. They are trying to prove RICO in this case by showing the jury, showing the courtroom these weapons. The defense also asked Special Agent Gerard Gannon about the workers encountered by law enforcement during the raid in a mansion in Miami, a property manager, a music producer, and some facility employees. The special agent said these people were put in handcuffs until they identified and searched. One uncooperative person, he said, was kept cuffed for a bit longer because the guy, I guess he was beefing about, being raided. No weapons were found on the workers and no paraphernalia, like drug paraphernalia. Defense attorney, Teeny Garagos confirmed at the time of the government raids. All right, reps for Combs called them an unprecedented ambush. So they said the feds ambushed Diddy's home out there inside Miami. They put a couple of people in handcuffs out there. But let me see what else they got. All right. The government recovered 3 cell phones from Diddy's mansion. These were found tucked into tall black boots, and a Gucci bag with traces of ketamine and cocaine. The Gucci bag also contained an array of drugs, among them a small baggie of cocaine labeled DBL Wash, a clear plastic Ziploc bag containing pink MDMA tablets, and another bag containing 3 orange MDMA tablets with the Tesla logo stamped on them. All right. Several of these times were presented to the court in their evidence bags, which Homeland Security Special Agent Gerard Gannon cut open with a pair of scissors and held up before the jury box. So, man, so this is some of the items that was shown in front of the jury. These are some of the photos that were taken. Look at all that baby oil, you guys. Hit the like button. Hit that like button. Now, your guess is as good as mine. What's all this baby oil and stuff for? But obviously, what they're trying to do with this baby oil and also, you know, a bunch of female shoes right here, and you know, I see what's that rope right there? They're trying to set it up, saying Diddy had a bunch of females go out there to Miami, to that island, and you do sexual stuff, which would fall under sex trafficking. You know what I'm saying? Like I said yesterday, we were trying to prove whether or not Diddy did sex trafficking or not. They are saying, look at all of these shoes, you know, baby oils, meaning he had a bunch of females going to that island. Now the island is out there inside Miami, where his house is at, but they're trying to prove that he had a bunch of females working for him, going over to that house, doing sex acts, of course, for money. And they're going to say that that was sex trafficking. That's why they showing all these shoes, you know, all of this sex stuff, the baby oils, the lubricants, and of course, the big one, the guns. Hit the like button, guys. The guns. They're showing the guns, guys. You know, they're showing the guns, the gun parts right there. They're saying that, look, this guy is running a criminal organization, hence the RICO. Hence RICO. And this is why he is a need for guns. They actually mentioned drugs, some drugs, but it doesn't seem like a hell of a lot of drugs. It seems like this is more like personal use type drugs, but nonetheless, drugs. They didn't claim that he was trafficking drugs or anything like that. But look at all that baby oil. But like I said, they're bringing the heat. They're bringing the heat, trying to prove the RICO. And I asked you guys, are they doing a job today proving the RICO? Shout out to Shine is in the building. Salute to Shine. How you doing, Shine? Bruce M2 is in the building. Salute Bruce M2. Let me see. Let me see who else is in this building. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. The feds are bringing the heat. The feds are bringing the heat. Kid Cudi will be testifying tomorrow, more than likely tomorrow, about the incident where his car got blown up. This is not now. It's not looking good for Diddy. The more these, you know, people come out and testify, it is not going to look good for Diddy. And now another celebrity, as far as Kid Cudi, going to be testifying against him. You know how people love them some celebrities. Now you have another celebrity testifying against another celebrity, in which, you know, because you know how sometimes it used to be you know, celebrities get off on these things because they're celebrities. But now you're going to have another celebrity, Kid Cudi, who is a rapper, testifying against another celebrity. You know what I mean? So hit the like button. Says Rocka Block Travels, aka Rocky. Shout out to you, Rocky. How you doing? How you doing, Rocky? Salute, Rocky. Shout out Raze, celebrate life. Thank you for your cash apps yesterday. I appreciate you. And do the cash apps. I'm gonna Raze Travel Fund. Salute. Raze reporting live from the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan. No, well, not today. It was raining. It was rainy today. But I'm in my mama's basement right now reporting. That's interesting. MDMA with the Tesla logo. So interesting. Carmela Cruz. Jojo, crazy. RICO charge over hose, baby oil, and Pez candy. Wow, you got criminals who've killed or robbed people facing less charges. Yes, this is, well, you know, like I said, that Kid Cudi is going to come in and talk about violence. You know what I'm saying? And I have the definition of RICO. I'm going to show you guys on the screen. Section 8 Housing Authority. Salute to you, Section 8 Housing Authority. Salute to you, Section 8. What's good? I interview you? I got some questions. Teddy Talks. Teddy Talks. What up? What up, Teddy Talks? How you doing, Teddy Talk? Yes. Shout out to you, Teddy Talks. I get up. Hit me up on Instagram. Salute to you. Salute to you, Teddy Talks. Salute to my guy J Moss is in the building. Shout out to you, J Moss. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the feds are bringing in the heat. They are bringing the heat. Look at those weapons. Look at the weapons. Look at those weapons. Now they have cross-examined though. They said, look, Diddy's lawyers said, look, yeah, you found those weapons, but would you agree? They were asking the federal agent, would you agree that they, some of the weapons were wrapped up in plastic and they weren't able to be fired or whatever? And he said yes. So the Diddy's attorneys was kind of like, trying to be like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Y'all found these weapons. How do you know these weapons were Diddy's? Now the Fed said that the serial numbers were scratched off of the weapons, off of the guns, and the Diddy's lawyers were like, well, even though there's no serial numbers up there, you can still, know who shot the gun, right? By fingerprints and DNA evidence and stuff like that. And the federal agent said, yes, you can, which, of course, but there is a reason they scratched those serial numbers off the guns, of course. You know what I'm saying? I know that. You guys know that in the chat. But Diddy's lawyers are like, hey, you can still find out who's using the guns by DNA evidence and fingerprints, right? So he answered yes. The federal agent answered yes. Diddy's lawyers also said, look, no big deal. You found a bunch of guns inside Diddy's home inside Miami. Doesn't most people carry guns and have guns inside their homes inside Florida? And the federal agents had to say, he said yes. And then Diddy's team concluded the questioning of the federal agent by saying, or asking him, don't you have guns inside your house also? And the federal agent said yes. And then Diddy's defense team says no further questions. Pretty much saying, look, Diddy has guns inside his Miami home, just like a bunch of other people have guns inside their Miami home, which was smart. That was smart of Diddy's team. Now they can't really answer for why Diddy would have these serial numbers, scrubbed off the guns. They didn't ask the federal agent that. They did not ask the federal agent about the serial numbers being scrubbed off. They didn't say, hey, federal agent, do you have guns inside your house that have the serial number scrubbed off? They didn't ask him that. They didn't ask him that question. They just said, look, you can still trace the guns by fingerprints and this and that. So, the Diddy's defense team is trying to do whatever they trying to do all they can, because there's a mountain of physical evidence as for the weapons and stuff and the drugs, found. So, but that was actually pretty smart to say, look, almost everybody has guns in Florida. You know what I'm saying? So let me see what you guys are thinking. Shout out to you, J Moss. Teddy Talk says typos. The baby or you party is finally over. Teddy Talk says visual hype. Teddy typing like he has a Mississippi education. Oh man, you're going at Teddy Talk to shout out the visual hype. Man, like I said, guys, this is the evidence right here, guys. Right here. Like I said, what's this? Oh, that baby oil. Oh, that baby oil, man. And then the lubricant, what's that? Astroglide, which y'all guys told me was lubricant. Astroglide. They're trying to say, look, man, all of this stuff is for sexual purposes, and Diddy had a bunch of females going inside that house out there on that island, and that's sex trafficking. They need to prove sex trafficking and the RICO. And I have let me see. All right, so let's go to this right here. RICO and racketeering definition. Okay. The federal racketeer, influence, and corrupt organization, RICO, acquiring, established, or operating an enterprise with illegally derived income. All right. Acquiring or maintaining an interest in or control of an enterprise through illegal activity and using an enterprise to commit illegal acts such as extortion, blackmail. Now, Cassie already claimed that Diddy, blackmailed her with the freak off tapes, saying he's going to release them. And he told me he was going to release them on Christmas Day if they didn't pay $20,000. And the mother of Cassie took out took out some money to pay him and a loan to pay Diddy. So they have blackmail underneath this RICO. So we was asking, did the feds prove RICO yesterday? Now, I didn't know blackmail is underneath the RICO. Blackmail is underneath the RICO. So if the jury says, yeah, they believe Cassie, and when she says that Diddy, threatened to release the freak offs if she left him, and you know what I'm saying? That's blackmail. That falls underneath the RICO, guys. That falls underneath the RICO. And other crimes include bribery, various fraud offenses, gambling offenses, money laundering, a number of financial and economic crimes, obstruction of justice or a criminal investigation, murder for hire, and sexual exploitation of children. Okay, so of course, if they find any underage, victims, he's going down basically automatically. The state crimes include murder, kidnapping, gambling, arson. Now, arson is going to come up tomorrow with Kid Cudi. Arson is going to come up tomorrow with Kid Cudi. That's a well-documented thing. We've been hearing about rapper Kid Cudi dating Cassie and Diddy getting mad about that and blowing up Kid Cudi's car in around 2011, 2012. He's going to testify tomorrow. So arson falls underneath the Racketeering RICO Act. Penalties for the RICO Act. A conviction under RICO has serious consequences. Not only does the RICO statute provide for criminal penalties, including 20 years of prison, but the financial penalties are severe. A person convicted can face a fine of either $250,000 or double the amount of proceeds earned from the illicit activity. Okay, the prison time can increase to up to a life sentence depending on the underlying crime that was committed. Oh man. So now that I'm reading further with this RICO, Diddy is at the mercy of the jury. Holy cow. The feds are coming hard today. The feds are coming hard. They're going to come hard tomorrow, pause, with Kid Cudi, with the arson. That falls under RICO, guys. That falls all in crimes that are covered by the RICO right here. A violation of RICO occurs when a person in connection with enterprise engages in a pattern of racketeering activity. Racketeering activity includes arson, bribery, counterfeiting, distribution of a controlled substance, of course, that's drugs, embezzlement, extortion. Now, the thing with Cassie's mother, she testified yesterday that she took out a loan to pay Diddy. He wanted 20 grand from her, Kid Cudi, or he was going to release the freak off tapes of Cassie. You can say that that's extortion, guys. Holy hell. Gambling. I haven't heard much about Diddy gambling as far as, illegal gambling. Homicide. Now, I haven't heard homicide inside this case. Kidnapping. I haven't really heard kidnapping. I heard, Dawn and them say they couldn't really leave out at the moment because Diddy had to talk to them about keeping quiet, but not really kidnapping. Mail fraud, money laundering, robbery, wire fraud, witness tampering. Now, witness tampering, I heard during the beginning when he was first arrested. That's why they didn't want to give him bail, because they was saying that he was going to be. They were saying he was going to be threatening the witnesses, and he was a danger to the witnesses that would be testifying, or that maybe would be testifying. So, man, what are y'all thinking right now? Do they have him dead to rights? Do they have Diddy dead to rights? I just read y'all guys the list of RICO, what falls under it. Arson, that's going to be tomorrow. Wow, the feds are smart. The feds are smart with this, man. The feds are smart. this is this is not looking good right now. This is not looking good. Like I said, all of these high heels and stuff, as far as the S trafficking is concerned. Obviously, he had a bunch of females in there. Now, like I said, some of us don't like the definition of S trafficking in this sense, because I think if they were like consenting adults that were brung to his mansion to engage in that, I don't think that should be a crime unless the females were underage. You get what I'm saying? Or unless they were kidnapped and brung there, forced to do that stuff. If you could prove that, then I say that's a crime. But I think if they are adults, you know what I mean, engaging in in that stuff, and they voluntarily went there, I don't believe that should be a crime. I said that yesterday. If I was on the jury, I wouldn't convict them on the S trafficking in that situation. You know what I'm saying? But I do know that's on the books. You can't do that. They don't want people doing that, even if they are adults. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. I say if they were kidnapped, if they were underage, yeah, slam them for that. But anyway, I think they have enough with the other stuff, the RICO, with the weapons. I think the drugs were kind of more like personal use drugs. I don't think they're gonna get them on drug trafficking or anything like that. But the arson definitely, because Kid Cudi is gonna bury him tomorrow with the arson, and like I said, the weapons. They're gonna be like, well, they testified. That's why they bring it up Suge Knight. They bring up the Suge Knight incident because they were like, look, this guy went out to Suge Knight with guns towards Suge Knight in L.A. Him and his cronies, and you know what I'm saying. And this guy from yesterday testified about that. His assistant, and all these guys that are testifying. David James, this guy was his assistant, to talk about how they had the guns when they went to go approach Suge Knight out there. They're gonna say that Diddy was running a criminal enterprise, and the people that are testifying that's getting immunity were his underlings. Right now, this guy right here. Now I'm gonna go inside the courtroom. This guy is a former employee granted immunity right before testifying today. Now he should be on the stand right now as we speak. But this guy, George Kaplan, he is going to sing like a bird. This guy is going to snitch and sing like a bird. Guy, hit the like button today. He probably on the stand right now as we speak. This guy, before they went to break like an hour ago, this guy said he pleads his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination because he worked for Diddy. He said he don't want to say anything that's going to self-incriminate him. Then the prosecutor said, okay, we're going to offer you immunity. And then the judge signed off on the immunity just like an hour ago. So this guy who worked for Diddy, this George Kaplan guy, just today, an hour ago, granted immunity before testimony and before testifying. No telling what he's saying right now on that stand. I'm going to go inside the courtroom and see what he's saying, guys. Hit the like button. Diddy, they are coming hard for Diddy right now. This is not looking good for Diddy. No telling what this guy is saying. He said he wanted immunity. He wasn't going to. He said he was forced to come here. He didn't want to testify, but he was subpoenaed. He said he is pleading the fifth. You know what I'm saying? Remember Mark Furman in the OJ trial? He pleaded the fifth. So he pleaded the fifth. So they offered him immunity. So now that he has immunity, he is going to sing like a bird on that stand against Diddy. This is not looking good for Diddy. No telling what he's saying, what they're asking him. And of course, Diddy's defense team is going to have to cross-examine him. Like I said, Diddy's team is trying to do everything they can with all of this mountain evidence that they're showing now. They're doing. I don't know. And of course, tomorrow, Kid Cudi to testify at the Diddy trial. Of course, the Punisher testified yesterday. But Kid Cudi is going to bury Diddy tomorrow with that whole arson, because arson falls underneath the RICO. Arson falls underneath the RICO, guys. Oh, man. Wow. Kid Cudi is going to bury Diddy. He's going to bury him. He's going to bury him tomorrow, man. Hit the like button. Hit that like button. He is going to bury him tomorrow. Let's see. Let me see. In the South, We all have guns, Razor. Yeah, Mike DZ. Yeah, and that's what his defense was like. Look, we all got South. We go in the South. We all got guns. And they actually said, "Yo, hey, federal agent, you got guns in your house too, right?" He said, "Yep." Africa, you might be getting what you was saying, Africa yesterday. It's looking like they got Diddy dead to rights right now, Africa. What's good, Razor? What up, chat? I just read to you, Africa, the RICO, and Austin is in that RICO. They got him. They got him dead to rights with that kid Cuddy. Tomorrow is gonna bury him. Whatever this guy, that just George Kaplan guy is saying right now, is about to bury him. Wow. I don't think they have enough for RICO yet. Carmela Cruz, not yet. Once Kid Cudi goes and talk about the arson, like I said, arson falls under it. If you commit arson, that's underneath the RICO. And they said something about you had to commit 2 of those crimes within a 10-year period to be charged with the RICO. So, you know, so we'll see. So you said not yet. Let me go back to this list again real quick. Let me go back to that list. What falls underneath the RICO? I put this up here because a lot of people were confused yesterday, including myself, about the whole RICO. Arson, which Kid Cudi is going to prove tomorrow, or at least he's going to, say. He's going to say tomorrow. Now, it's up for the jury to believe the witnesses. You know what I'm saying? If they don't have no hardcore photos or DNA. If the jury believes Kid Cudi about his car getting blown up and getting threatened by Diddy to blow up the car, or if they have text messages or whatever. But really, all the jury have to do is take, Kid Cudi's word for it. Really, bribery, counterfeiting, extortion. Now, extortion, if they believe that Diddy extorted Cassie's mother for the 20 grand, you know what I'm saying? Now, the other article mentioned blackmailing that I had, which, Cassie claimed he was blackmailing her to release those freak offs. Witness tampering. Distribution of a controlled substance. Now, even though they found drugs, I don't think they gonna nail him on that. I think those are like personal drugs. Well, they could say he was distributing drugs to his people at the party. So really, yeah. So actually, they can say this distribution of controlled substances too. Actually, if they say they just say, well, he was giving out drugs to people at the party. I guess that's distribution. What are y'all thinking, jurors? Y'all the jurors. What are y'all thinking? If y'all was on the jury, what are y'all thinking? What are y'all thinking with this list? I think they also got him on extortion with Cassie's mom. They also got him on wire fraud for her wiring the $20,000, even though they gave it work. The wire alone, sure intent. Man. That yesterday we were asking. I'm starting to lean towards they got him, Africa. Now it's up for the jury. Now the jury is the jury, Africa. Like I said, it's not automatic. It's not artificial intelligence that is going to give a guilty verdict. These are humans on that jury pool. You know what I'm saying? So they can, all it takes is one to say not guilty. But with the Kid Cudi tomorrow, the feds are coming hard, bro. The feds are coming hard. Is it consent if they were drugged unknowingly? That makes a difference in threats of physical violence. You are right. You are 100% right. And that's what I always said too. If it was found out that the people went to them freak offs and were drugged, that's our word. That's assault. Yeah, you're done. If any of those witnesses, now none of the witnesses said that yet. None of the witnesses that took the stand so far said they were drugged unknowingly. But obviously, they still got a couple of more weeks, around 3 or 4 more weeks of testimony of witnesses. I'm sure the feds are going to bring up one of the witnesses that say that they were drugged. So yeah, this is not looking good for Diddy right now. Diddy is done. 75 years in jail. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. New York feds have a very high conviction rate. It is not looking good. I think guys are tired of giving money to sorry broke YouTubers who refuse to work anywhere. Thank to you for exposing these con jobs, double R and Doge. Oh boy. Two or more RICO predicates need to be proved beyond a reasonable doubt, and I think they have done that with trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Man, and the Austin, Kid Cudi is going to testify tomorrow, guys. This guy, Kid Cudi, this guy is going to bring the house down tomorrow. Holy, he's going to bring the house down tomorrow. Kid Cudi, rapper Kid Cudi. Now, this is well documented. We was talking about this before, like before this even started, that Diddy allegedly threatened to blow up his car and set his car on fire because he was dating Cassie in around 2011. And it happened. It did happen. His car got blown up. So the feds called them in. And Austin is on that list. Still Life. Do you believe they got him dead to right Still Life? Yo, there are a lot of options on that list to build on. Yeah. And like I said, I wasn't sure about what, RICO and all that. Yeah. I think he's dead to rights. Now it's up to the jury. This is not a judge. The judge is not going to make the decision on guilty or innocent. It's still the jury. You can have a rogue juror. You can have a one juror say, no, I don't believe in none of this, you know what I'm saying, and cause a mistrial. You know what I'm saying? So it's still not 100% he will be found guilty because of that fact with 12 jurors. All it takes is one rogue juror to say not guilty. But this is, the feds, I give the feds credit. They came with the heat today. And they're going to come with they said Kid Cudi was going to testify today, but he had scheduling conflict. So it's going to be tomorrow with Kid Cudi. Now, I heard today someone said that was in the courtroom said Diddy was given a plea deal. Now, we didn't know what the plea deal was before the trial even started, like 2 weeks ago. He turned it down. I'm hearing that it was 15 years in federal prison. Because we didn't, but I heard that today. Somebody in the courtroom today that was covering it. I don't know if you want to take the word of her. She said the plea deal was for 15 years. I don't know how she found that out, but he turned down 15 years. Okay. Did he turn down 15 years in the plea deal? What do y'all think? He should have took it? Do you think that they're going to try to work out a deal before, like, once Kid Cudi testify, do you think Diddy's lawyers going to like, hey, Diddy, let's try to plead out before this trial, and let's do something like the Young Thug did. Let's just plead out because this is looking bad now. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that 15 years is still on the table. What y'all think? What are y'all thinking in the chat? With knowing Kid Cudi is going to come through tomorrow and testify, do you believe Kid Cudi is going to bury Diddy with the arson? And do you believe Diddy should go ahead and just take a plea deal if it's still on the table, if they bring it back on the table? Because it's not looking good. Yesterday, I was like 50-50 on it. But now, like I said, I was only 50-50 on what I heard and what I knew about RICO. But now I know more about RICO. And now what they're showing as far as evidence with the guns and all this other stuff, and this Kid Cudi guy is going to testify about the arson, is not looking good, guys. It's not looking good. It really is not. And I don't know who else they're going to have testify. Like I said, wait until they start bringing in the people that claim that they were drugged. They haven't brought them in yet to testify. Diddy should plead insanity, say he's a S addict, need blue pills and baby oil. Cassie was never forced to deal with her. She willfully cheated on her because he can't no longer do the deed. Now, do you believe some of the people, like the person that testified yesterday was like a co-conspirator? His chef is still going to testify. The the person is testifying right now. I'm about to go inside the courtroom. The guy who pleaded the fifth and who was granted immunity like an hour ago. You know what I'm saying? This video is very disturbing. Combing through Sean Combs' fortune. Yeah, they raided his spot. You know what I'm saying? They raided his spot. They got all this evidence. You know what I'm saying? Once again, the high heels, the guns, drugs, the baby oils, and the lubricants. And like I said, all that stuff, the RICO. Now, hit the like button though. Hit the like button, guys. This is not looking good. Kid Cudi. This is gonna be the big one tomorrow. Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi is gonna be the big one tomorrow. Austin is not one of his charges, but Ken Padmore. I just read the list. Ken Padmore. Austin falls under the RICO. Austin falls under the RICO, and Kid Cudi is gonna bury him tomorrow, bro. I just and like I said, I wasn't sure. That's why I came out with this. It's at the top. Crimes that are covered by the RICO Act. A violation of the RICO occurs when a person in connection with an enterprise engages in a pattern of racketeering activity. Racketeering activity includes arson, right at the top. Right at the top, Ken. I wasn't sure either, so I don't blame you. I wasn't sure yesterday. I wasn't sure what falls. Now, this is, I see it right on the screen. Arson, right at the top. Kid Cudi is going to come into that courtroom tomorrow and say that Diddy blew up his car, set it on fire. They got him. If the jury believes the testimony. Now, I don't know. I don't know how Diddy made the threats. I don't know if he put the threats in writing. I don't know if he was dumb enough to do that. Did he send the text messages? Do they have text messages? But the jury, all the jury have to do is believe the testimony, word of mouth, to be honest with you. And we've heard that Diddy did that, like we've been hearing that for like a decade already. You know what I'm saying? So that's already in the juror's head for some of the jurors that been following Diddy, that knows, about Diddy's past. They got him dead to rights, bro. The feds played this, man. They got him, Ken. They got him. Diddy's coming home. He's going to get a hung jury. I can't. Now, like I said, the jurors are human. So all it takes is one juror to say not guilty. But that list I'm showing you, and with the wire fraud, with the $20,000 for Cassie's mom, the extortion. You could say that he extorted. If they say that he extorted, Cassie's mom from yesterday, the testimony. Nearly half of the defendants in convicted federal cases happen to be Hispanics. Blacks make up nearly a quarter, while whites make up under 23%. Oh, thank you for that. That percentage. The auto whale is in the building. Shout out to you, auto whale. Shout out to you. Proving arson in court usually involves a combination of physical evidence, expert testimony, witness statements, and circumstantial evidence. They have all the elements. Now, do they have the physical evidence? We'll see what physical evidence they have about the arson. We'll see, but that Kid Cudi is going to be huge tomorrow. Huge tomorrow. Huge. Double R. Should passport bros be concerned about posting videos abroad? The poor four countries you were smart to never post anyway. Interesting. So you saying so they won't get caught up like Diddy? It just depends on the country you post them in. Now, some countries have, might have certain rules. Like Thailand actually came up with you can't do S-acts on social media. You could get arrested for that. So you gotta. It depends on the country. You know what I'm saying? And it depends on you don't do nothing illegal with them. If it's legal, you know what I'm saying? See, I'm not gonna go that far and say pastor bros are doing stuff illegal with the women abroad, because they're not. All that stuff they're doing is legal. unless you're doing SX on camera inside Thailand. They have a law against that. Unless you're promoting prostitution in Costa Rica, they have a law against that. You get what I'm saying? Which Cuba Dave found out the hard way. So you got to know the laws. Those others, now it could get you smacked around. It could get you, delete the video and stuff like that in certain countries. But you got to follow. You got to keep up with the updates on the laws and stuff out there inside said country. Now, as far as S trafficking, bringing the girls back to USA, you got to be very careful with that and know what you're doing. Make sure you're having a real relationship with them. You know what I'm saying? Diddy coming home, MK says, even if he does come home, his reputation and credibility is murky. I'm not too sure if he's coming home now, guys. Not with this Kid Cudi testimony. He's going to be coming up tomorrow, guys. That arson is huge right there. You know what I'm saying? Because even if they don't get him on S trafficking, the arson, the money, what's that? The wire fraud, the extortion, the bribery, the blackmail. Not the bribe, but the blackmail. These are all U.S. citizens. Answer the question. These are all U.S. I just answered the question, Django. I just answered your question. This depends on the country. I haven't the smoking gun yet. Where's J-Lo? Where's Usher? Can you imagine if they called J-Lo to testify? Where's Usher? Where's the accountant? Where's the big ones to close the case? They're coming. They're coming. This case is gonna be like another 4 weeks of testimony. So every day they're gonna bring somebody. They're gonna bring a few people every day. They're coming. They might not even need J-Lo, to be honest with you. They might not need J-Lo or Usher, to be honest with you. Like you said, the accountant, and who knows what's going on in the court right now. Because guys, this guy, I showed you this guy an hour ago. This guy named George Kaplan, he's testifying right now. He said he's gonna plead the fifth because he don't want to implicate himself. So they offered him immunity. An hour ago, the judge said, all right, we're going to write you the immunity. They signed off on his immunity. He's testifying right now. Matter of fact, let's go inside the courtroom right now. Let's see. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. Let's see what's going on inside this courtroom right now with this guy. No telling what they're asking and what he's saying. He's, let's see what this guy is saying inside that courtroom. George Kaplan, who was an assistant. He was an assistant of Diddy. Granted immunity. All right, so we have a bunch of updates coming out of that courtroom. So I'm gonna just see. All right. All right, off the break. All right, so this is Don't Lose the Will. On desk is George Kaplan with his immunity agreement. And tomorrow it's hoped that Kid Cudi will testify. So right now, this guy is up there right now, George Kaplan. They're back. This is Combs' defense. Did you discuss the topics with the prosecutors? Dr. Hughes. Now, Dr. Hughes was the person that was she's like a doctor who was testifying about, why do females stay with their abusers and keep coming back to their abusers. All right. With all due respect, it was mostly me educating them. Diddy's lawyer, but you know nothing about the case. Were you advising them on how to present evidence in domestic violence cases? So that's just, let's get to this guy. Let me see. All right, so they didn't start the questioning with this guy yet. So they were just cross-examining the lady that was giving a testimony about why do females, not specific to Cassie, but in general, why do females go back to their abusers, and mental abuse, physical abuse, females suffer. And she was explaining to the court, you know, and the defense had objected a couple of times because they was getting too specific as far as like Cassie. So, but I'm waiting right now for this guy, George Kaplan. I want to know what he's going to say, because this George Kaplan has been given immunity because he was scared that he was going to self-incriminate himself. So they are flipping, co-conspirators. I think this guy was a co-conspirator. So he said he's like he pleaded the fifth. So they granted him immunity just an hour ago. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what he has to say, since he has the immunity. Now he's gonna spill the beans. He's gonna spill the beans, and he'll probably bury Diddy before even Kid Cudi tomorrow, depending on what he says. Yeah, so he's not testifying yet. He's that lady is still up there. Miss Hughes is still up there testifying. Let me see. He knows a lot. Trust. Yeah, this guy, he knows a lot, right? Wow, this guy knows a lot. I don't know exactly what his position was with Diddy, but the classic one, yeah, this guy is gonna spill the beans. He is gonna spill the beans for him to say he don't want to implicate himself. So that means he participated, or he's seen some stuff. He was around Diddy while Diddy was doing obviously alleged illegal stuff, and he was there. He witnessed it, but obviously he probably didn't tell the authorities. So he said, look, I need to plead the fifth. I need immunity. They granted him immunity. So now he can't be charged, and he can't get in trouble for what he said that he witnessed. So Diddy might be buried even before Kid Cudi can even come out and talk about the arson. Wow. Shout out to Wiz Valano in the building. The classic one says he knows where the bodies are buried. This is going to be highly interesting to what this guy says. Cassie mom real name is Stacey Hobson, not Regina Ventura. Wait till Cassie have to come back on the stand. I'm not sure if she's going to come back on the stand. She's probably finished. Her portion is probably finished. At this point, I don't even know if they need her anymore, to be honest with you. After this guy testifies, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to stand this live long. I was going to talk about the with the guns, what they showed with the guns and stuff. But now that this guy was granted immunity, this is going to be some blockbuster testimony. He's going to talk about some real illegal stuff. I believe Diddy should be like, hey, about that. I think we should take that plea deal. You know what I'm saying? Will they offer the plea deal again? You know what I'm saying? 15 years. I'm hearing that they offered 15 years in federal prison. Diddy turned it down. You know what I mean? Diddy turned it down. I mean, he's probably like, well, at his age, he's probably like, well, 15 years. So if I get 20 years, sentenced to 20 years, I'll go ahead and fight it. Hope maybe I can get off. Maybe I get lucky and get off. What's the difference between 20 years and getting sentenced to 20 years and taking a plea deal for 15? You know what I'm saying? The extra 5 years, I'll fight it and hopefully maybe I get off. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're talking 30 years, we get sentenced to 30 years, compared to 15-year plea deal, 15 years is still a lot, man. You know, 15 years is still a lot to plea out to. So you still haven't seen a smoking gun. Well, wait until this guy testify, George Kaplan. Now, like I keep saying, the jurors have to believe this guy, George Kaplan. The jurors have to believe what Cassie was saying as far as the blackmail. The jurors have to believe Cassie's mom as far as, you know, the $20,000 payout that she took a loan out to pay Diddy. They had to believe they were, you know, the testimony. The jurors had to believe the assistant that testified yesterday. You know, this guy. You know what I mean? You had to believe him. David James. Yeah. Yeah, Trump's name keep coming up because of the Trump Tower. Trump Tower. Now the Punisher, the guy, the guy, the sex escort guy, he said he went to Trump Tower. That's where Diddy, you know, apartment was, as far as the engagement, as far as the this guy, you know the guy, the male escort, the Punisher that everybody was talking about yesterday. I don't have his photo up here, but let me see if I can bring up his photo. He testified that he went to Trump Tower and engaged in the SX with Cassie, with Diddy watching. You know what I'm saying? About 8 times, and that he was paid $800 to like $1,300 each time, and that he couldn't perform because Diddy was around sometime, and he wasn't used to the male being around, so he couldn't perform, and that but they still paid them, and that happened in Trump Towers. So Trump's name really came up as far as his hotel, as far as Diddy being inside his hotel, not really about Trump actually engaging in the stuff. But that's right there, the Punisher. That was him testifying yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Diddy is cooked. Diddy is cooked. Yeah, JT, 15 years. So they offer him a plea deal of 15 years. You know, 15 years. I wonder if Diddy would have took it if they would have offered him the Young Thug. Young Thug got probation, like 15 years probation. Diddy would have hopped to that. Diddy would have hopped on that 15 years probation. But they 15 years, long time, JT, right? Might as well fight it, right? Might as well fight it. Trump will pardon him in 3 years. Now, if y'all believe Trump was a real friend to him, I don't know. I know they record you, but Diddy never really endorsed Trump, but they were cordial over the years. You know, they knew each other over the years. I don't know how friendly they were. They were cordial, at least. And who knows? I mean, Trump don't have to run again. He's not going to run again for office. You know, they do hundreds of pardons when they leave in office anyway. So who knows? He might just throw him in there, throw him a bone, and pardon him, depending on how friendly. You know, I don't know how friendly, how close they were. Where's Farnsworth Bentley? I don't know. Performance anxiety. Yeah, he said he couldn't. This guy, he said he couldn't perform a lot of times because Diddy was there. He was like, look, I'm not used to this. You know what I'm saying? Hey, why are you here, bro? You know, you got the mask on. I'm with Cassie, but I don't really want to, be around you. You know what I'm saying? I don't really want to be around you. MK, Diddy is wealthy. When he comes home, he's just going to relax with his family. That's if he comes home. I'm not. This right now if this right now, if Trump pardons Diddy, the USA is cooked. Alan Lyon. If it, well, I mean, it's gonna be like 3 years from now. People gonna be done forgot about this case. Now, if he were to pardon him now, yeah, it would be a bad look. That's why Trump is not gonna pardon him no time right now. Now, if he were to do it after like 3 years when people done this out of the public minds, I think nobody would really actually. I mean, people will talk about it, but it's not going to have the effect like if he were to do it now. Because technically, Trump could pardon him now before a verdict, before any. Trump could pardon him now. You know, like they be giving preemptive pardons. You know, Dr. Fauci got a preemptive pardon, so the feds can't even charge Dr. Fauci. Like so, you could get a preemptive pardon, and he can pardon Diddy right now. But I think after 3 years, if he were to pardon him, people have done moved on. Delta One, Diddy gonna be eating bologna and cheese sandwiches for the next 20 years? Delta One says. I'm waiting, guys. I'm waiting for this guy. I wasn't gonna stay on long, but I'm waiting for this guy. This guy is gonna say some explosive stuff, I predict. This guy he was involved. See, these guys, they are proving a criminal enterprise because these guys work for Diddy. And if this guy did anything illegal to help Diddy, that's part of a criminal enterprise, the feds are going to say. That's RICO, racketeering. So that Dr. Hughes is still testifying right now, which I want her to leave the stand. I want to see this guy. I want this guy, George Kaplan, to come on, you know, with his immunity and see what he has to say. Because normally they go to like 3:30 Eastern time. So if they get it around 3 o'clock, I don't want him to come on the stand and then he'll just ask him one question. They be like, all right, let's adjourn for the day and this and that. Yeah, but once again, right there, the evidence so far shown in front of the jury or the baby oil, which, you know, people laugh at, but, you know, baby oil. They releasing all those baby oils because they're going to say freak offs and S trafficking. For what it's worth, the guns, drugs, high heels, multiple high heels, and Kid Cudi tomorrow. Say yesterday was the Punisher. And once again, for people that just joined us, hit the like button. RICO includes arson, bribery, counterfeiting, distribution of drugs, embezzlement, extortion, gambling, homicide, kidnapping, mail fraud, money laundering, robbery, wire fraud, witness tampering. And this one, it includes the it includes, let me see, blackmail. It's extortion and blackmail. You know, the probation won't last if Diddy got that because he can't help himself with the freak off. Oh, you said he would violate the probation. If he were to get like 15, like Young Thug, he'll violate it. Cause y'all believe he's a S addict, right? He's an S addict. But he could still get his S, but you know, the freak off stuff, you know. He would have to. He would have to, Ibrahim Muhammad. He would have to just stop, you know, cold turkey, quick cold turkey with that stuff because he'd be sent back. But I don't believe. I think now. I think, man, man. I guess it depends on what his attorneys tell him. Look, you facing 25, 30 years. Take the 15 years. But at that point, at his age, he might be like, man, let's just go all the way and fight it. Whatever I get, because 15 years, by the time he get out, he going to be in the 70s. I don't know exactly how old Diddy is now. How old is Diddy now, guys? Did he reach the 60s yet? If he take 15 years, he's going to be touching 70 by the time he get out. You know what I mean? I don't think he wants that. So he might just say, let's just keep going, and maybe one of the jurors say I'm not guilty. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, big riff, and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Anybody new to the channel, we have posted all of this stuff right there. Was found in his house in Miami. Guns found at Sean Diddy Combs, LA in Miami. A house, big riff, Hydro Music Belize. Shout out to you. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Anybody new? I think right now they got him dead. The rights is up to the jury. Diddy is going to have to hope and pray that one of the jurors, you know, say not guilty for whatever reason. Because Kid Cudi is going to bring the house down tomorrow. This guy, this Kaplan guy that's about to testify in a few minutes, who was just given immunity, he's going to bring the house down and squeal and just squeal and dare I say rat out Diddy. He's going to rat Diddy out. Right. And Kid Cudi tomorrow is going to just, you know, talk about the arson. And arson falls underneath that RICO. Do y'all believe J-Lo would testify in this case? Does she even need to? I mean, would she even need to testify after Kid Cudi and this guy Kaplan? And then the chef, they still got the chef that's going to testify, his personal chef. Likely they'll probably give the personal chef immunity also. Because this guy that testified yesterday, this guy was, I believe he was given immunity also. He was given immunity, David James. So they're flipping everybody that worked for Diddy and maybe have carried a gun for him and seen guns around. And, you know, like this guy on the screen right now, this guy yesterday testified that he was in a car when they went to go approach Suge Knight and they had guns in LA. And he was scared, he was nervous, so he left Bad Boy Records after that incident. You know what I'm saying? He was scared, you know, nervous and scared for his life. I believe he got it. This guy had got some type of deal. He struck a deal with the so these guys are flipping. These guys are flipping on Diddy. And this is where we at right now. And it's like 4 weeks left of this. So will J-Lo be called? Will Usher be called? You know, will Suge Knight himself be called? You know, I mean, that'd be crazy. But this guy, this is who we are waiting for right now. This Kaplan guy, George Kaplan, former employee of Sean. As a matter of fact, let me see. Let me see if I can find out what exactly did George Kaplan do for Diddy. What was his role? Salute, JD. What's up, JD? How you doing, JD? Don't the feds have a 97% success rate? Yes, they do, Desmond. They do. They have a 97% success rate with these cases. Of the I just seen of the 75,000 federal cases a yearly they have. Well, last year I believe only 200 was found not guilty. Out of the 75,000 federal cases, only 200 was found not guilty. And really, the 200 was for like really for contempt of court, stuff like that. Lying on the stand. So the one, so that's why I just seen that earlier today also. So really, yeah. So it's not looking good for Diddy. It's not looking good. So let me see, and he's 55. So thank you, the classic one. So Diddy is 55, 15 years. He'll be 65, 70. So he'll be 70 years old by the time he get out, if he would take the plea. Yeah. So let me see George Kaplan. What was George Kaplan's role in the Diddy organization? George Kaplan, Diddy employee. Let me see what role he played, because he's about to bring the house down. George Kaplan, Diddy employee. Africa says personal assistant. So just all right. So another personal assistant. So that can just be all right. Got you. So just like the other guy that testified yesterday. All right. So we are waiting for the Hughes to get off the stand so this guy can take the stand. Let me see if he's on the stand yet. Let me see. Let me go to it. Let me see. Maybe he's on the stand. Hit the like button. Following the Diddy trial. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them people took the pleas, Ken. Diddy might be forced to take one, or he might say, you know what? If I get 25 years, bunk it. I'll risk getting 25 years to life. I'm not taking a 15-year plea deal. Now, if his lawyers say, look, you're going to get life. If his lawyers be like, look, it's a good possibility you're going to get life, then of course you take the 15 years. You're going to have to take the 15 years. At least you're going to get out at 70. You're not going to die in jail, right? Or die in prison. But if the difference is 25 years or 15, he might just say, all right, I'm going to go for it and see if the jury, a few of the jurors say not guilty. All I need is one juror to say not guilty and have a mistrial or something. All right, so they're still questioning. All right, the all right, Bach and Mr. Steele decided not to use you at the meeting with you. All right, so this is Combs' attorney. So they were still talking to that. All right, the government calls George Kaplan. So George Kaplan is coming to the stand right now. George Kaplan is coming to the stand right now. This guy who is about to squeal and rat out right now. He is coming. Get your popcorn ready, guys. Get your popcorn ready. This guy who just was granted immunity and pleaded the fifth. He was going to plead the fifth. But they gave him immunity an hour and a half ago. They are calling him to the stand right now. They're calling this guy to the stand right now. So we're going to see what they ask him. And will his testimony bury Diddy? Will this guy's testimony bury Diddy? That's what we are trying to see right now. All right. So this guy who just was granted immunity, they are asking him questions right now. The prosecutor is asking him questions right now. I'm going to get to the first questions and answers right now. Of course, more than likely, the Diddy's team, they're going to cross-examine him. Also, the man is going to take Diddy down now. Says, yeah, it's looking like it. Hughes, the psychologist, said she is making $600 an hour for her work, stay in school kids. Yes, I did read that. So she's getting paid a lot of money to be inside this courtroom today to testify. Russell Simmons is still out there in Bali, Indonesia. He's fighting a lawsuit, but he says that there's no jurisdiction. He has relocated. He does not live in the USA no more. He is a citizen of Bali, Indonesia. So Russell Simmons got out of Dodge, the former Def Jam Records CEO. So Russell Simmons has gotten out of there. And like I said, shout out to JD. Extortion. Yeah, he would be 70 if he took the deal, says Autowell. Imagine if any of the states like New York, California, Florida want to indict Diddy after this case. Oh man. So yeah, they'll just be pouring it on. The feds have no RICO on Diddy. Well, stick to the script. Well, we going through that right now. Tony Lane gets out of prison in 36 hours from today. I mean, Tory Lane, my fault. So he got stabbed up. So he getting out of prison in the next 36 hours after getting stabbed up. Russell scram like quick. Yeah, Russell Simmons was smart. He got the hell out of here. Somebody already told everything. That's why it's a RICO. Kaplan ain't got nothing. Well, we're going to see right now. Hot Wog, hit the like button. Hot Wayne, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel, Hot Wayne. I don't know. CNN reports that Forbes estimates Diddy's net worth is still at $400 million, a major drop from the $1 billion reported in 2022, revealing that Diddy's wealth is in jeopardy and warning that if Diddy's wealth is in jeopardy and warning that if Diddy is convicted, the government could seize all of Diddy's money and assets from all of his businesses. Yes, I did hear about that. He was trying to get a lot of his assets out of his name and stuff like that. So let's go inside the courtroom. This guy, Kaplan, who was just granted immunity an hour and a half ago, was testifying. The prosecutors asked, when did you work for Sean Combs Enterprise? Kaplan says 2013 to 2015. Prosecutor, what fell under that holding company? Kaplan says clothing, liquor, entertainment. I was executive assistant to the chief operating officer. Prosecutor, where did you work? Kaplan says 1710 Broadway, New York City. So he worked in 1710 Broadway, New York City in Manhattan. That's not Brooklyn. I guess that's going to be Manhattan, I would think. So they just starting off the questioning about in what capacity did he work for Sean Diddy Combs. But this guy is about to squeal. He said he's going to plead the fifth. He did not want to be there, but he was subpoenaed, and they granted him immunity. So he's going to tell all whatever illegal stuff he's seen, allegedly, and we'll see if the jury buys what he's saying. Okay, so it's about to get real dicey for Diddy right now. Real dicey. They could put all that baby oil on auction in his cars. Oh man, Hot Wayne. All right. Prosecutor, what did you do? Question mark. Kaplan, I carried his bags, made such things were when he wanted them. As he trusted me more, he had me around more. I'd set up hotel rooms. Prosecutor, how many hours a week did you work? Kaplan says 80 to 100 hours per week. Okay, so 80 to 100 hours per week. Okay. Prosecutor, how much did you get paid? Kaplan, $125,000 a year to start. Prosecutor, what did you do in the morning? Kaplan says, make sure everything was in the bathroom, the breakfast cooked. He was recording a mixtape, so we worked late. So those are the opening questions to this guy. We'll see what else he's going to say, because he's going to get to the juicy stuff. The stuff for his reasoning why he would plead the fifth and ask for immunity. Africa says only 2 years. I wonder how much he knows in those 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. You know, only 2 years. 2000. What is that? 13 to 15. He worked. Whitney Houston herself couldn't hit the high notes. This brother gonna hit when he starts singing. Yeah, he's about to start singing right now. 80 to 200 hours per week. Yeah, the normal work week is like 40 hours, double. So, I mean, but he was getting paid. He got paid a lot, 125,000. He said, right, to start. He got paid. That's a lot of hours, though. That's a lot of hours. J. Moss says Cassie wants it. So this guy is on the stand right now. He's about to start singing like a bird. Is my my prediction. All right. Prosecutor asks Kaplan, how much did you get paid? So 125,000. All right, so I read that. So I'm waiting for the next update. We are waiting for the next update from Kaplan. $24 times 7 equals 168. Yeah, we know that, J. Moss. We know she was a freak. That was for sure. Yeah, you know, she's a rich freak though right now, $30 million. She got $20 million from Diddy and $10 million from the hotel where she got beat up. You know what I'm saying? And this what the this what the defense is trying to approve yesterday. But you know, they're gonna say that they were saying the feds are trying to say that she was forced into all that stuff, you know, once, you know, she started being blackmailed because of the freak off tapes being released. You know what I'm saying? So let's go back into the courtroom. All right. So far, no update on the next question they're going to ask this guy. That's about to sing like a bird. Hit that like button, guys. Kid Cudi will be testifying tomorrow, but this guy, Kaplan, is about to sing like a bird. He was granted immunity. And you'll see what the prosecutors is going to ask him and what he will say. Because he was like, look, y'all gonna ask me questions, but I'm pleading the fifth. I'm not gonna say anything that's gonna incriminate myself. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. It is what it is. We're just waiting for the update. As soon as the update come in, I'll read to you what this Kaplan guy, who was an assistant, $125,000 a year, is going to say to help bury Diddy, or to try to help bury Diddy in the eyes of the jurors. Africa says, imagine if Cassie's lawyer said, we know you are poor, so you don't have to pay us, but if we get a judgment in your favor, we will split it 60-40%. Well, they know she's not poor yet. Oh, you saying? Oh, you said, well, all right. You say when they got the 20 million. Yeah. Sometimes they do that. So you're saying that she didn't pay up front for the lawyer. They said, look, we're gonna do this case, both cases. Again, the one against Diddy and one against the hotel, and yeah. You know, now sometimes the lawyer, they'll have a percentage of what, they'll pay for their time, and then they'll just, get their whatever percentage. Yeah. All right. So we have an update. So our prosecutor asked Kaplan, who was security? Kaplan says Uncle Paulie, D-Rock, and Ruben. Later licensed security in the second half of 2015. Prosecutor, how frequent did you communicate with Sean Diddy Combs? Kaplan, multiple times a day. Things could be found in the back, an iPad, drugs, whatever. Okay, so he's already squealing. He's already singing like a rat. Why did he add the drugs? He said he volunteered. He said, look, multiple things could be found in the back, an iPad, drugs, whatever. Why throw in the drugs? This guy is about to squeal and rat his heart out. He has immunity. He voluntarily said drugs. This guy voluntarily said drugs, guys. This guy voluntarily, they didn't even ask him. It's not like the prosecutor said, hey, did you see any drugs? They didn't. He just said, hey, multiple times a day, I talked to Sean Combs. Things could be found in the back, an iPad, drugs, whatever. Did he have to be looking at this like, oh, man? He understands the assignments. Yes, Africa says he is volunteering information. Yeah, Bruce Sim too. Yeah, he understands the assignment. He was granted the immunity. He's expected to bury Diddy. You know what I'm saying? So he understands. He knows. Raze, are you funny? Keep calling the guy a rat. Yeah, he's good. He's squirrely. He's ratting. He just voluntarily. Why add that? Right? Why didn't he just say? He he just voluntarily said. They didn't even ask him. He just voluntarily gave that information up. So it's going down right now with this guy. It's going down with this guy. He has immunity. He's not going to be prosecuted. You know what I'm saying? Kaplan ain't got no RICO information. Okay, Hot Wayne, we're gonna find you trying to find out right now. I want y'all guys, y'all jurors, you guys are the juror number 13. I want y'all agree with Hot Wayne. We'll see. We will see. He giving answers before they even finish the questions. Desmond, yes, this guy is singing like a rat right now on this stand. He is doing a tell all. He might as well write a tell all book after this, after he exits. He's doing a tell all book. He might as well do a tell all book. Hell, who ain't got guns and drugs? Boring, says Hot Wayne. Yes, the classic one, rat. He's staying on code. He's staying on code. All right, so we got more. Prosecutor, did he threaten you? Kaplan says he threatened my job. How often? Kaplan, maybe monthly. He'd say he was only to be surrounded by the best people and that he wasn't. For example, he went me for a 1-liter water and I bought back 2.5 liters. He said no. So he sent me for a 1-liter water and I bought back 2.5 liters. He said no. Okay, so he testified that. So that seemed kind of petty. That's kind of petty. All right. Prosecutor, how did you travel? Kaplan, on his jet or going in advice to make sure it's all set up. Prosecutor, how did you set up hotel rooms? Kaplan, there was a bag. I unpacked it. Clothes, candles, Astroglide, baby oil. The Astroglide is the lube, the lubricant. Prosecutor, who bought this? Kaplan, often I did. Okay. So they already, started asking him about being threatened. We see where this goes from here. Hit the like button, guys. Diddy's assistant, former assistant, is testifying. He has immunity. He was going to plead the fifth, but he got that immunity, so now he is on his stand right now. In what cities did you set up hotel rooms? Kaplan says L.A., New York, and Miami. In L.A., Mr. Combs, Bel Air, the Intercontinental. Prosecutor, in New York? Question mark. Kaplan says Trump by Columbus Circle. In Miami, the SLS. All right, prosecutor, how was it booked? Kaplan says Frank Black, based on Biggie's Frank White. All right. So he booked it in the name of Frank Black, based on Biggie's Frank White. So he didn't book it in Diddy's name. He booked them in the name of Frank Black. So I don't know where they're going with that one, but he didn't book it in Diddy's name. He booked those hotels, Trump Hotel, and the other ones in the name of Frank Black, based on Biggie's Frank White. Let's see what else he has. Y'all are following this guy. He's staying on code. He's staying on code, volunteering information right now. Africa says this proves RICO. Hot Wing says it doesn't prove RICO, Africa. How many jurors are for sale, says Hot Wing. Bruce M2. They could not pay me enough to handle a grown man's Astro Glide. T. Williams says salute. T. Williams, you missed you just in time, really, because this guy is testifying. He was gonna plead the fifth earlier, an hour and a half ago. He said, I don't want to be here. I was forced to be here. I was subpoenaed. I don't want to testify. I'm pleading the fifth because I don't want to incriminate myself. The judge and the prosecutor says, all right, sign this immunity. Be giving you immunity. This is like an hour and a half ago. Now he has hit the stand and he is singing like a bird. He is volunteering information. So T. Williams, so this guy who was a former worker, assistant, getting paid $125,000 a year in the year 2013 and 15, is testifying against Diddy right now inside the Manhattan courtroom. So he's snitching. Yes, he's snitching. And now, of course, earlier they also had the federal agent talk about the weapons and stuff that they seized out there and in Miami. The jurors already said one man RICO. No way, just like the rest of us, and that's all that matters to the defense getting a not guilty verdict. Diddy walking. Well, all they need is one juror to say not guilty. But let's go back inside the courtroom. Let's see what else this guy says. All right, talk about he set up. All right, prosecutor, would you clean up rooms? Kaplan says yes. Bottles of baby oil, Gatorade, once brown crystallized powder on the counter of the bathroom sink. Prosecutor, why did you clean up? Not the hotel staff. It was implied protect his public image. I was keen on doing that. So he's saying, look, Diddy wanted Kaplan to clean up and not the hotel staff to protect his public image. It's a straight immunity from prosecution or a proffer agreement. It's straight immunity. Straight up immunity, straight out immunity. The judge signed off on it. Prosecutor signed off on it. It was straight immunity. A proffer was yesterday. A proffer was given to this guy, the other guy from yesterday. This guy that testified yesterday, David James. That was the other assistant yesterday. He was given a proffer, but this guy was given a straight immunity. So he knows some stuff. He knows some stuff. He was given straight out immunity. You know what I'm saying? This brother hitting high notes. Mariah Carey couldn't hit. Yeah, he's gonna hit the high notes. Mariah Carey. Kaplan was basically an overpaid butler instead of a personal assistant. Well, we're gonna see the criminal stuff. We're gonna see because he said he did not want to implicate himself in any crime, so he's going to plead the fifth. That's when they granted this guy immunity. Imagine cleaning. Yeah. So let's go back in the courtroom to see what else they're asking him. What he's saying. Okay, here we go. Prosecutor, illegal drugs. Diddy's lawyer, I object to the term illegal. So prosecutor asked Kaplan illegal drugs. Okay. So then Diddy's team said objection. I object to the term illegal. Prosecutor says, what other drugs? ? Kaplan says Advil, ketamine. Prosecutor, what he asked for? Kaplan says, I picked up drugs for him. MDMA. Prosecutor, who asked? Kaplan, Sean Diddy Combs in LA and Miami. So he is already saying that he picked up ketamine and Advil for Diddy. MDMA also. So he's pretty much saying he's going to be, he's picked up illegal drugs for Diddy. So that's why he wanted this immunity. So he won't get charged for buying drugs. So far, let me see. Prosecutor explain. Combs' lawyer, objection. Judge says overruled. Kaplan, I found hotels would sell photos to newspapers to shame guests. I found hotels would sell photos to newspapers to shame guests. So he's saying he would sell photos to newspapers to shame the guests. Wow. Prosecutor, did he reach out to you from the room? ? Kaplan says for food, clothes, sometimes drugs. I did it. Then they ask what drugs. Kaplan says DOP kit, whatever that is. I don't know what the DOPP kit. I don't know what drug that is. I don't know. I don't know what drug that is, guys. I don't do drugs, so I'm not a drug expert, especially these new drugs that's coming out. You know what I'm saying? So basically, even like, look, he sold photos to newspapers or to shame the guest. Interesting. What? Like what? What the hell? Okay. Let's see what else. Kaplan says in Miami, Sean Diddy Combs asked me to call a person. He came and gave me a bag of pills, MDMA. I gave him cash. I gave the pills to Mr. Combs. Prosecutor, and in LA, Kaplan says, I went out and met the person in Hollywood. I gave money. He gave me a bag, I guess a bag of drugs. Judge, we'll break for the day. Oh, man. So they are breaking for the day. So they are leaving on a cliffhanger, guys. Leaving on a cliffhanger. They are leaving on a cliffhanger. This guy was talking about how he was picking up drugs for Diddy. Basically, he was paying for drugs to give to Diddy. So that explains why he wanted the immunity. No telling what else he's going to say tomorrow. And tomorrow, Kid Cudi himself is going to be testifying if everything holds straight. So tomorrow is going to be another huge day with this guy singing like a bird on the stand. How he bought Diddy drugs, and no telling what else he did for Diddy. He has immunity right now. He is going to testify before Kid Cudi. Man, Kid Cudi is going to testify about the arson and stuff like that, which falls underneath the RICO. It's looking like Diddy is going to be in trouble, guys. Diddy is looking like he is in trouble. Diddy is in trouble. Diddy is in trouble. Doc Kit is a toiletry bag. Okay. He extorted Kid Cudi, I presume. Yeah, they were saying in the testimony yesterday, Cassie's mom was saying that he wanted $20,000. I guess between her, Kid Cudi, and whatever. I don't know why they mentioned Kid Cudi in that $20,000, but $20,000 she took out a loan to give Diddy. As far as the so he won't like release the video of the freak offs from her daughter and stuff like that. The guest meaning whom did he extort? Just mere guest or guests? I don't. It just said guests. It didn't name any. They were he claimed he said he was getting photos. So let me go back to that. So that's important too. So that could go into the extortion, blackmail, and that all falls underneath the RICO, guys. That all falls underneath the RICO from what I showed you guys earlier. Wait, there's more. Diddy's attorney. They proffered email chain. All right, the preferred the preferred email chain is about Gina, and Gina is out of the case. She's not coming. Prosecutor, she's in the indictment. Diddy's lawyer, they could get her here and they're choosing not to. I'll submit a letter by 10 p.m. in the docket. So I don't really know what that was about. Yeah, so this guy said that he took photos of the guests to sell to the newspapers to shame the guests. So I guess he mean to shame the guests that visited Diddy's parties and Diddy's man. So Diddy was taking, and remember they were saying that Diddy took photos of his guests during the freak offs so he can have something to blackmail them with, right? So this guy who has immunity is pretty much basically confirming what we have been hearing ever since before the trial started, when they first arrested him. He is confirming that he took the photos of the guests to use them to shame them, if need be, inside the newspapers, guys, which is blackmail. And that falls underneath, as I read to you earlier, it falls underneath RICO, extortion. Hot Wayne says, damn. Raze Gerardo Rivera ain't got nothing on your beat reporting. Good job, my brother. Shout out to you, Desmond. I'm just having some fun with this, man. We're going to stick with this until there is a verdict read. It's not looking good right now. It was 50-50 yesterday, but as they keep bringing in more of these testimony witnesses, and like I said earlier, nobody has mentioned yet that they were drugged and assaulted yet. That's coming. They're going to have some of those witnesses come on and stand and say that they were drugged eventually, I would think. And now that'll help the S trafficking portion of the case. And that I'm just assuming that. I have no evidence that they're going to bring anybody in there that said they were. But in the beginning of the trial, I mean, at the beginning of the arrest, we've been hearing that, you know, they were putting out there that, you know, people were given knockout drugs and assaulted. So obviously, I think they are going to call some witnesses, at least a couple, to testify that that happened to them. And that's when you're going to really get into the S trafficking. Because like I said, if they are consenting adults and they voluntarily went to Diddy and was paid money, I say leave it alone. I mean, they're adults. As long as they're not minors, or as long as they weren't kidnapped and forced to do that stuff, I say, well, what's the problem? And if I was a juror, but I say if I was a juror, they said they were underage in those parties doing that, then you got to find them guilty of S trafficking. If they were forced to do it, kidnapped, you got to find them guilty of S trafficking. If they were given drugs to knock them out unknowingly, you got to find them guilty. So we haven't had anybody testify that they were knocked out by any of the drugs, but I'm sure that the feds are probably, my guess is the feds is going to come out with some witnesses that say that that happened to them. And it's going to be up for the jury if they want to believe those witnesses that claim that happened to them or not. Oh, man. Mr. Bentley has not been mentioned. Maybe because he was before the Cassie era. Like I said, once again, recap. This is some of the stuff that falls underneath the RICO. Arson, bribery, which arson is going to be shown tomorrow. Whatever Kid Cudi is going to talk about tomorrow. So this guy is going back on the stand tomorrow to continue his testimony. The guy that has immunity. And then it's going to be a back-to-back. If Kid Cudi do show up tomorrow, it's going to look really, really bad for Diddy. Because arson is on this list of RICO. Arson is there. Arson, bribery, counterfeiting, distribution of controlled substance, which they can say he distributed drugs at those freak-off parties. Embezzlement, extortion, gambling, homicide, kidnapping, mail fraud, money laundering, robbery, wire fraud, witness tampering. T. Williams says people's photos and compromising positions are sold and released all the time. Sometimes they try to make you pay so they won't release it. I don't see a RICO here. So you don't see that as RICO, T. Williams. Interesting. You don't see that as RICO, T. Williams? Well, I guess if you hold I guess they would have to bring in a witness that said that he had some photos of them and threatened to release them unless they pay a certain amount of money. I guess you could say that's extortion, blackmail, and blackmail falls underneath the RICO. Cassie has already said that, you know, he was going to release the video if they didn't pay $20,000 of the freak offs, and that's the reason she continued to come around and be with him. If you want to believe her or not, that's up to you guys. But they're just putting all this stuff inside the jury's head, and we'll see what the jury decide. But you said the jury ain't going to convict. This is a circus, says Hot Wayne. I got to look up RICO again. Well, I got it up here right now for you guys. I got it up here. This falls underneath RICO. All that stuff right there falls underneath RICO. RICO, the Federal Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization, aka RICO, acquiring, establishing, or operating an enterprise with illegally derived income, acquiring or maintaining an interest in or control of enterprise through illegal activity. All right, using an enterprise to commit illegal acts such as extortion, blackmail, extortion and blackmail. Now, did this guy commit extortion and blackmail, or more specifically blackmail by taking photos and holding those photos over these guests' head, threatening to take them or sell them to the magazines. And they're putting that out there to put that inside of the jury's head. Racketeering. RICO defines racketeering activity as a long list of state and federal crimes. The federal crimes include bribery, various fraud offenses, gambling offenses, money laundering, a number of financial and economic crimes, obstruction of justice for a criminal investigation, murder for hire, of course, and sexual exploitation of children. The state crimes include kidnapping, gambling, robbery, bribery, extortion, dealing in obscene matter, and drug crimes. Okay, so I just read that for you guys. This guy's gonna tomorrow. Kid Cudi is gonna talk about the arson. Arson is up there, guys. It's been well, talked about since 2011 that Diddy allegedly blew up this guy's car because he was jealous. Arson is on the list of RICO, guys. I must say today was a bad day for Diddy and his team. Diddy's team, they're trying. The defense is trying their best, but today is a bad day. Tomorrow going to be a even worse day because this guy is coming back to testify. The guy that got the immunity, and Kid Cudi is going to testify about that arson on his car. That's going to be a bad day, horrible day for Diddy tomorrow. Hit the like button. Diddy is looking at a horrible day tomorrow, especially if Kid Cudi actually shows up to testify. He is scheduled to testify tomorrow. We'll see if it goes through. But with the combination of this guy that was granted immunity and Kid Cudi, and who the hell knows who else the prosecutors have as witnesses that's going to be coming up over the next couple of weeks. It's not looking good, guys. I mean, you know me, I'm a fair person. I was trying to give the Diddy team the benefit of the doubt yesterday. I was like, it's 50-50 from what I was hearing so far. Because I was like, well, the S trafficking stuff is kind of like he said, she said type stuff. You know what I mean? With the Cassie and the Cassie's best friend and all this other stuff. They would prove more domestic violence. And he's not on trial for domestic violence, but this stuff right now, from what I'm reading, this stuff is falling underneath the RICO. This stuff is falling underneath the RICO. I have to admit that. And they're putting it out there in front of the jurors for them to decide. But like I said yesterday, it's not artificial intelligence that's going to give a guilty or not guilty verdict. It's human beings. So no telling how those 12 jurors is going to interpret all of this testimony. Will they say that some of the testimony is false? Will the jurors say that they don't believe every testimony? All it takes is one to say not guilty and have a mistrial or hung jury or whatever. That's what Diddy is banking on. Now I will be leaving out the country over the next week for my birthday, but we will be covering this trial from abroad. You know what I'm saying? We still will be covering this trial from abroad. Kid Cudi, now they probably have something. Yeah. Oh, T. Williams, bro. Kid Cudi he was going to testify today, but his scheduling is going to be tomorrow. T. Williams is going to be tomorrow. He's going to talk about that arson. The feds know what they're doing, man. The feds know what they're doing. He's going to bring up the arson, the threats of the arson, and the arson having had his car blown up. That falls right underneath the RICO. Then they're gonna be like, well, who did Diddy order to? What if they bring in, what if they have a person that actually did the blowing up of the car testify one of these days? That's gonna be underneath the RICO, criminal enterprise, running the criminal enterprise, and intimidation and violence. I gotta be fair. Yesterday I was like 50-50, but this is not looking good at all. This is not looking good at all for Diddy, man. This is not looking good. You're gonna have another celebrity, Kid Cudi testifying against another celebrity. Remember, he must be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, or he walks. Yes, you're right. Like I said, that's why the jurors are human, which I was telling Africa yesterday. Africa, remember, I was saying the jurors are human. Humans do make mistakes in their judgments. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't read all the. I know you mentioned some of the profile of the jurors yesterday in Africa, but I haven't read them. I said I was right. Yeah, I'm gonna get are they women or most of them white, black? I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna go ahead and. Raze, what are the chances of you doing a show outside the court building? Yeah, you see, I can do more when I'm not out there, to be honest with you. It'd be cool for me to be outside the court building, but it'd be rainy. It was raining today again. If I can get in, and I see if I get up very, very early in the morning and go inside, I can get inside the court. I can get inside. It's open to the public, but you got to be there around 6 o'clock in the morning. It's first come, first serve. So I can get up very early and go out there and get inside. But I can't film inside, of course. I would have to write down stuff with my notes. Then I could come outside, go live, and report what I seen in there. I can do that. But I mean, who knows? I mean, I can just go live from outside, but it seems like I can get more done by just sitting inside because I have multiple devices out, and but technically I could, if it's a nice day, I could sit outside in the park and in front of the courthouse and go live from out there and do the same thing, But it's more convenient being inside, of course. I have multiple devices, sitting down, but you're right. I could go out there if I yeah. Eventually, because it's gonna be like another 4 weeks of testimony, I think they said. So I got some time. So even when I leave, I come back and especially when they want to do the verdict. Definitely, right before they do the verdict, I think I got to be outside the courthouse for that with the verdict coming in. Plus, this is not really 100% my main niche on the channel. I'm more of the travel. But if this was my main niche, on YouTube, I would have tried to get inside that courtroom. If this was my main topics on the channel, rather than travel stuff, I definitely would have made it a point to get inside that courtroom. You know what I'm saying? I get it now. Damn right, Bad Boy was a criminal organization, and that's what they're getting at, Hot Wing. I had to be, they were just this was a slow rollout. This was a slow rollout with Cassie testifying about the abuse. This was a slow rollout, but right now they're getting into the criminal organization about a Bad Boy being a criminal organization. And these guys that are getting immunity, they are flipping and they are turning against Diddy and being forced to testify. Every paparazzi and tabloid should be given RICO then. I get what you're saying, T. Williams, but the feds really they're not going to do that because the feds really want Diddy. All they have to do is convince the jurors that that's RICO, and that's bad what Diddy did. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're doing. They're putting all this stuff in the jury head. They're not going to go after the paparazzi and stuff for that. I know what you're saying, T. Williams. They want Diddy. All they have to do is convince the jurors that this is bad business. Diddy is a bad guy for him to even do that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Him doing this stuff makes them believe Cassie's story about her being blackmailed with the freak off tapes, T. Williams. So it's adding a level of history and patterns of doing this type of stuff, T. Williams. That's what they're trying to do. They trying to put all of this stuff inside the jury's head, guys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They just trying to set that up, because if he's able to do this, which we know paparazzi do that all the time, the Cassie stuff, if he did that, the Cassie stuff, Cassie must be telling the truth. You know, they're trying to put that inside the jury's head. I see what they're doing now. The feds are smart. They are smart. It was a slow rollout. You know what I'm saying? It was a slow rollout. They are smart. No telling what other witnesses they have after Kid Cudi. What other witnesses do they have after Kid Cudi? Will they call Shine? Will Shine, the guy that did 10 years in jail, will they call Shine? Will they call Suge Knight? Since when is domestic violence Puerto Rico? Well, we've been talking about that, Polo Styles. Domestic violence is not Puerto Rico. Domestic violence was being proved over the first week of testimony. And that's what I was saying. Everybody was saying, look, all that has been proven was domestic violence, and we don't see a RICO yet. And that's all I was saying. Yet. And he was not arrested for domestic violence. We've been saying that, but we put that out there already. So I was not seeing earlier on in the testimonies, I was not seeing a RICO case, and I was not seeing 100% S trafficking. 100%. Now it was like more like 50-50. If you wanted to believe Cassie, her stories and her friend's stories, and that she was being blackmailed and she didn't really want to be there, but she was blackmailed to be there to do those S acts with all those people. That was a 50. That was muddy. It wasn't really proven. Just domestic violence. But now I see what they're doing. They're trying to develop a pattern, and they're trying to get the jury not to like with the domestic violence stuff. So the jury probably already don't like Diddy for the. I mentioned that. I said the jury probably don't like that Diddy beat up Cassie. So some people in the jury probably want to nail him anyway for just beating her up. You know what I'm saying? Looking for an excuse to find him guilty. So right now, it is beyond a reasonable doubt that he has committed a few crimes at Desmond. Man, those cameras were recording for security purposes. Where are his lawyers with the arguments? Well, his lawyers is trying their best, man. Look, bro. His lawyers are trying. Look, I don't blame his lawyers, man. They have to explain guns that were brought into the courtroom to show the jurors, high heels, baby oil. You know what I'm saying? You know, they defense, bro. Their defense have to explain away, and not just the guns, the marking away of the serial numbers of the guns. Because the federal agent said there were the serial numbers on these guns that were confiscated from Diddy's house in Miami. The serial numbers were scraped away, scraped off. So Diddy's lawyers were like, look, hey, it's Florida. Most people have guns in their homes anyway. You know, this is not a story. Oh, you know, some of the guns y'all found were wrapped in some type of plastic, and they weren't usable anyway. So Diddy's lawyers were pretty much, you know, poo-pooing that the fact that they found guns earlier today. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that, you know, the the serial numbers were scraped off. Diddy's lawyer said, look, you can still identify he used the gun by DNA and fingerprints, right? And then they asked the federal agent, you have guns in your house, right? Too. And the federal agent said yes. So Diddy's lawyer, they're trying their best, man. They're trying their best, but this is they are bringing the heat. Like I titled it, the feds are bringing the heat now. Kid Cudi is going to be huge tomorrow. And whatever else this guy that was granted immunity is going to say tomorrow, it's going to be a double team. And who's to say that the prosecutors don't have another witness tomorrow that's going to testify, And I'm reading to you guys what Austin is on the top of this list when it says crimes that are covered by RICO. The feds know what they're doing, man. I'm seeing it now. The feds, Kid Cudi is going to say Austin. He burnt my car. He burnt my car. He hired people to burn my car. Criminal enterprise. Hiring criminals to burn my car. Bad Boy Records, criminal enterprise. That's why they was talking about they went out to attack Diddy. I mean, Suge Knight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Jaguar Wright was outside the courtroom for a couple of days. See, that stuff I couldn't see. If I was outside the court, I would have got an interview with Jaguar Wright. I know she had a security staff, but a couple of security bodyguards. Jaguar Wright, she be outside. Gene Deal be outside the courthouse. Gene Deal was his former bodyguard years ago. He has been talking against Diddy for years on social media. Gene Deal be at the courthouse. Jaguar Wright, she be at the courthouse. Gene Deal says he's not testifying. At least at the moment, he's not going to be testifying. Jaguar Wright, she hasn't mentioned anything about her getting a subpoena. You know what I'm saying? These are weak lawyers. He needs bro, he's hired 10 different lawyers now. Inside that courtroom, he done hire about 10 different lawyers that's working on this case. Because there are different lawyers that are questioning the witnesses. Or like 5 to 10 different lawyers, I think they were saying, people were saying, they probably exaggerating. But he has hired some different high-powered lawyers on this case. So they're going to try their best. He turned down, for people that just joining us, he turned down, according to reports, he turned down a 15-year prison sentence plea deal right before the trial. He turned down a plea deal for 15 years, guys. Y'all remember Young Thug Young Thug got a plea deal for just probation. 15 years probation. Diddy got a plea deal for 15 years in prison. That's big. Diddy turned down a plea deal for 15 years in prison, guys. Hit that like button. $15 years in prison. Diddy turned down a plea deal. So that means the feds are like, hey, we're going to give you 15 years. That means that the feds probably, they might be pushing for life to try to get him in jail for life, in prison for life. Yeah, I said he's 55 years old right now. 15 years. He get out in when he's 70. Maybe Diddy, right before the end of this trial, they might say, you know what? Let's try to do that plea deal. There's too much evidence mounting against us. That Kid Cudi testimony is going to be damaging tomorrow, man. It's going to be damaging. That RICO, that's why I put that list up there. Arson, bribery, counterfeiting. They could say he was distributing drugs in those freak offs. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, they more than likely they're gonna bring up some witnesses that say that they were drugged. Because like I said, they're gonna have like this is gonna last another 4 weeks. Every day, 5 days a week with testimony from alleged victims. And some of those victims, I would think they would bring up some victims that was gonna claim that they were drugged and S assaulted. And now that's S trafficking. God forbid you have somebody to say they was underage that said they was at those parties and you know what I'm saying, got God forbid that if you're Diddy. When it comes to the feds, it seems that they have a method to their madness. Yeah, it was a slow rollout with the whole domestic violence. That's why everybody on YouTube and the media was like, well, they are proving domestic violence, but I don't really see 100% RICO. I don't see 100% S trafficking because Cassie seemed like at times she wanted to be there and this and that and this and that and his word versus her word. She blackmailed but now this is all coming together right now, guys. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Tomorrow is going to be very damaging for Diddy because this guy is coming back to testify, and then Kid Cudi is going to testify that he burned his thing. Remember, the feds need to prove only 2 of these crimes to prove a RICO. Yes, you're right about that, Africa. Even the arson is circumstantial. We need the proof. Well, T. Williams, people have been talking about that for 10 years. Not necessarily we don't need the proof 100% because, like I said, they just need to put it in their heads. Now, it's going to be, like I was saying yesterday, it's up for the jury to want to believe these witnesses or not. Will they believe Kid Cudi? Well, that Kid Cudi story been out for a decade now. People been talking about he burned his car for a decade. Yeah, it's it's mounting. It's mounting, man. It's mounting. It's mounting. Like I said yesterday, but it is going to be up for the jury, those humans, to want to believe the testimony of these witnesses or say that they're lying. So will they say that? Will some of the witnesses, on the stand, come up tomorrow and the jury say, hey, I don't believe Kid Cudi. I don't believe him when he says that Diddy threatened to burn his car because he was jealous of him dating Cassie. I don't believe that Diddy had that man's car burned. So that's a possibility. They don't have to believe Kid Cudi. But what if they do believe him? That's awesome. What if the feds have, and this is just me speculating, what if the feds have call up a witness that actually did the burning of the car? So I'm not sure if Diddy actually did it himself. Maybe Diddy hired somebody to do it. What if the feds have the person that actually did the burning of the car and he testifies? Like I said, wow, tomorrow gonna be a big day, man. Oh my goodness. And with Kid Cudi testifying, it's another black rapper, dare I say a celebrity, testifying against another bigger celebrity. That helps the prosecutors. That helps the prosecutors. They got bribery, mail fraud, kidnapping, distribution of controlled substances so far. Now, the kidnapping is kind of loose because the kidnapping, like I was saying yesterday, I know Dawn Richards was saying she couldn't leave because she couldn't leave the room because Diddy was threatening her. Bet not say that you saw this, but that's kind of loose. I'm still not 100% on the kidnapping with the people that say they couldn't leave because security wouldn't let them leave. That's kind of loose. That's not the classic kidnapping, even though you can say it is. You can say it's intimidation. Listen, I'm just talking to you. You're going to stay here until I finish talking with you. Yeah, my security there. But, I mean, so that's kind of loose. That one's loose. That one is not 100% for me. As if I was a juror, the distribution of controlled substances. Now, do you want to say him giving those, the drugs to the people at the party? That's distribution of was he selling it? Was he distribution, giving it to his guests, right? I mean, I don't know how they want to look at that, but technically, yeah. Mail fraud. You saying that Cassie's mom wired the money? So you saying mail wire fraud? She took out a loan to wire him the money, and you said that was extortion because he wanted the money because he was threatening to release the freak off video of her daughter. Yeah, they got him on it. I'm trying to find ways, bro, to play devil's advocate, but I think they got him. They got him, bro. This is going to be too much. And like I said, the Austin stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be too much. Now it's up. Now the jury. I'm not. Now like I said, these are humans. The jury might say, "Nah, I don't believe these witnesses." You know what I'm saying? So it's still a possibility. One of those 12 jurors will say, "Nah, I don't believe it. This is rubbish. These witnesses are lying." Or you can have a juror that's just a Diddy fan. He didn't let it be known when he was picking them, and to say, you know what, I really want Diddy to get off, and I'm just gonna find him not guilty. You know what I'm saying? You can have that too. So it's not 100% locked in that he will be convicted. It's not 100%. It's not 100% because of the jurors. This is not a judge by. This is not a verdict by judge trial. This is a verdict by jury. 12 individual jurors with their own brains and their own set of likes and dislikes. You know what I'm saying? He should have his lawyer reach out to Cudi with $5 million cash. Well, yeah. And Africa says, T. Williams, that is illegal and stupid advice. At this point, this brother may need Johnny Cochran to get off. And rest in peace to Johnny Cochran. I think they said Johnny Cochran was his lawyer during the whole, when J-Lo, the nightclub shooting, when Shine got, what did they bring, when Shine got convicted and did that 10 years in jail, in prison? I think Johnny Cochran was his lawyer back then when he was alive, about 2003. Can you imagine if J-Lo testifies, if they subpoena J-Lo? If they subpoena Sean? Can you imagine if they subpoena Sean? They got bribery. All right, so I read all of this. I don't trust no guilty snitch. Diddy could have paid them to plead the fifth. We'll see tomorrow what else he has to say, T. William. I wonder what Cassie fell LOL 50 Cent might have in Austin, RICO coming down in a few years for burning down his own house. Oh, he burned down his own house, you think? On purpose? Why he did that? For insurance? I gotta read that story. Why would 50 Cent burn down his own house? For insurance? Africa says kidnapping was also taking the personal assistant to the dining room to confront Suge Knight. So you're saying that guy, the guy that testified yesterday, you're saying that he was kidnapped? He felt he was kidnapped. He was forced to go when he was talking about they had guns and they went to go confront Suge Knight. This guy, I think that's a stretch, but I mean, I guess, see, some of the stuff that I think is a stretch. That's why I was kind of 50-50 yesterday. I was like, well, some of this stuff could, you could convince some of the jury of this, of the kidnap. Some of the jurors might bite since they probably don't like Diddy anyway. So it was like a stretch, I would think, but technically, yeah, but I don't know how blatant it, because you could say, well, the Diddy's lawyers say, well, this guy, he was around, he was getting paid, he went on his own, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't, but it's a tall hill to climb for Diddy's defense team, you know what I'm saying? Tall hill for them to climb. Like I said, I seen earlier that the feds had like 75,000 federal cases last year. Only 200, about 200 roughly, ended in being acquittals outright. Only 200 out of 75,000. And most of those were just like contempt of court, lying on a stand, stuff like that, or withholding evidence, stuff like that. Out of that 200, that you ain't really see any that were on trial like Diddy with with these charges get fully acquitted. You know what I'm saying? So, but he might, we'll see. Like I said, could he be subpoenaed, or is he going to court voluntarily? I don't know. I don't know if it's voluntary, but they saying he's going to be in court tomorrow. So we'll see. I don't know if it's voluntary. They'll probably ask him that tomorrow. Is it voluntary or not? We'll see if Shine is called. I don't know. Shine, a stand-up dude in my book, never snitching. We'll see if he's subpoenaed, though. The rule in the hood is that snitches get stitches. But the guy today, he was singing like a bird. He's going to be singing tomorrow once he continues. T. Williams, 50, burnt down the house when he found out his baby mama had another dude living there. Oh, okay. All right. Well, 50 better be careful then, because when if and when they ever go at the 50, that's sure to come up under RICO, bro. If they ever go at the 50 Cent for whatever reason, if they want to they want to get Diddy. They're not going at the 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? They want to get Diddy, so they're going to use everything. That's why they use the RICO, because it makes it easier to prosecute and to get a conviction. Disco Inferno remix says Sunday Night Smoke. Shout out to you, Smoke. Shout out to you, Smoke. Hope all is well with you, Smoke. You think Diddy is a goner, Smoke? Kid Cudi is going to testify tomorrow about the arson. You know what I'm saying? That falls underneath RICO, man. Salute Raze in the chat room. Africa, kidnapping is the unlawful taking and carrying away of a person by force, threat, fraud, or deceit without their consent, and often with the intent to detain, confine, hold the person against their will. Yes, you're right. But I still say it's kind of iffy. If I understand what you're saying. It's I really do. I really, really do. And I ain't trying to play a defense attorney, but I really, really do. It's like these laws are just so broad and just so easy to get arrested. It's so easy to get caught up in these. So me, I'm just kind of like against, some of this stuff, because some of these laws in the books, it just, I know there's crazy people out there and they deserve to be arrested and get thrown into jail. Trust me, I don't like a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? But really, a lot of this stuff, it makes it easy to really interpret that, yeah, you did this. And like, nah, I ain't do all that. This person is voluntarily here. You know what I'm saying? I was having a conversation with him. Yeah, I mean, my security was there, but my security is always here. You know what I'm saying? He could have left. You know what I mean? If they wanted to leave. But I can believe, Diddy, threatened them to not leave, whatever. So I mean, it is what it is. I think he's gonna get cooked tomorrow by Kid Cudi anyway. And this guy that got the immunity, whatever else he's gonna say. Ugh. And they got 4 more weeks of testimony from witnesses that I don't know who the hell that they got Diddy's chef gonna testify too. Diddy's chef is gonna testify this week. So more than likely he'll have immunity. They're gonna be singing. They're gonna be singing like the bird, hitting them high notes like somebody said earlier, like Mariah Carey. I was looking for ways. I was trying to find ways where Diddy, it was like a 50-50 proposition that the jurors might say not guilty, but I would say this: the prosecutors are coming hard. The feds are coming hard right now. They are not playing around now, and they are putting stuff out there that may prove the RICO. It was a slow burn, but people were waiting for this, but we're here now. Sunday Night Smoke says nasty work. Yeah, nasty work. I'll come back live tomorrow though, and we come back live tomorrow. I got to come back live tomorrow and cover this. This is gonna be blockbuster tomorrow with this Kid Cudi and what else? This guy that got the immunity that was gonna plead the fifth, and they granted him immunity 2 hours ago. What else is he gonna admit to? He already admitted to buying drugs for Diddy. You know what I'm saying? And they gotta say there's drug dealing and drug, distribution. You know what I'm saying? So this guy right here, George Kaplan, he said he was gonna plead the fifth. I'm not gonna self-incriminate myself. So the judge and the prosecutor said, okay, here's your immunity papers, sign it. You're gonna testify today. And that's where we at. He said some stuff, and now he's gonna finish out his testimony tomorrow. Right ahead of Kid Cudi. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be a back-to-back devastating body blows to Diddy tomorrow. If Kid Cudi shows up tomorrow, he was supposed to be there today, but instead they're saying tomorrow he's gonna be there tomorrow. All right, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Um, I'll likely be back live later on tonight. We'll see. But in the meantime, let's go Knicks. First game, Eastern Conference Finals. First time in probably a couple of decades, probably, or a decade and a half. They've been in the Eastern Conference Finals. Really, really 2 decades. Yeah, 20 years. So good luck to them tonight. Game 1 versus the Indiana Pacers. We've seen game 1 last night. OKC beat Minnesota. JoJo just proves we should not ever again date American women. Only date women abroad, said JoJo. And guys, anybody want to do StreamYard right there, $10 off discount. Use my code right there. Hit that link. If you want to do live streams like Raze, go ahead and hit that link. $10 discount, and you're straight. Hit that like button, guys. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Anybody new to the channel, we're going to be back live tomorrow. Back live tomorrow with this explosive testimony that is sure to come tomorrow. Kid Cudi. Everybody's going to be watching tomorrow. Kid Cudi testifying. And we'll see. We'll see. That Austin stuff is going to have to come up tomorrow. We'll see what is going to go down in that courtroom, Manhattan, tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.